World of post Age of Overlord. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what ideas people have cooking here. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Hey, it's Ken and Gen. Yeah, you guys wanted to see all of the little crazy Dark World shenanigans and things that you can bring to the table with this. Yeah, this is going to be a engine that I think a lot of people are going to genuinely dislike playing against. And the crazy part is there's no thrust, there's no talents in this build. No, we're just doing this so we can discard our Dark World cards by an opponent's card effect. You know, it used to be all Cerule's job out here. You know, Cerule used to run this, you know. Cerule used to be the cool guy in charge, but no, not anymore. It's now all about Ken and Gen out here. And I do think a lot of people are going to be following the 3-1 ratio on this because this is just honestly the most optimized method to do so. Now, I mean, does this make Dark World more consistent? Oh yeah, you bet your butt. Until this card ends up coming onto the table and you're just like, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and pick up my cards and I'm going to call it a day because that's what's going to end up happening. Danger package feels pretty optimized at this point in time. Double graph is fine. I know there's some people that swear by 3. I don't know what you're doing out here. You're crazy, but okay. And I see that we're still playing Salamander Catalyzer. This card is still pretty good. You gotta love the fact that the amount of TCG exclusives that have been driving Dark World because, yeah, Ken and Gen and Salamander down here, but now the OCG has this, so we're gonna forget that this was a exclusive. And of course, let's not forget about Skill Drain. All right, no matter how much you want to try to spin it and be like, hey, you know, Skill Drain's still going to be a big determining factor on this deck, especially, you know, when you can turn your entire deck into literally vanilla monsters because they're all so large anyway. That's going to be a problem for your opponent to have to deal with. It's typically a lot of the way that this tends to work out. Yeah, I want to say that Skill Drain's not such a big factor, but it is. It is. All right, card's still busted. All right, what else we got going on back here? Hey! It's the power of the Sinful Spoils Hunter Fiend and the Diabell Star and friends. And yes, somebody is exploring the idea of playing the Jet Synchron in the deck because, let's be honest here, you could technically Jet Synchron into the Borreload and the Baron. You can get really spicy out here, and you can technically tune the Jet Synchron to the Hydrant and make a formula, and then use the formula to draw a card and then warp into the Baron if you really wanted to, but this build is not exploring that, alright? Like, don't get me wrong, it's a stupid, crazy idea, and we've seen it kind of work a little bit, but you are on the top shelf up here in stupid ideas, and you're like, huh, really? I think we can go ahead and try that one today. I also see that we are playing one copy of the Snake Eye down here, so this is what I've been talking about in a lot of these videos, where you see some of these ideas and you're like, hey, you know, like, this works as a splashable one-of, alright? I like the idea of what you can do with this because as a one-of, it is technically searchable, and it does immediately tend to out something by crystallizing into the spell and traps. Alright, like, that tends to be acceptable, but you are not going to usually be dedicating a main deck slot to this. Side deck, I think, works out relatively fine. Some of these other builds have been playing the additional copy of the Rescue Ace HQ in the side deck as well, so you're like, hey, you know, in case we hit the grindier matchup. I don't think post Age of Overlord you really have to worry about that. You do have some problems, yes, that can be relatively annoying, but I think the 1 HQ post Age should work out for you. The format's going to go a lot faster, so something to kind of consider with that. Alright, what else we got going on back here? Oh, so this is actually an interesting discussion point. Nothing really changes in this pile. Alright, Albaz, its current engine, it's still sitting here. It's doing its thing, but there's no reason to hit anything in this deck right now to kind of make an attempt to power creep it because the deck has issues. The deck, oh boy, it has a lot of issues. Yeah, I understand that getting Gimmick Puppet locked at this stage in the game is annoying, but I am not seeing the Gimmick Puppet lock happening anywhere near the amount that people used to say that it was, all right? Like, this was a problem. I think right now it's just a minor annoyance that the deck can do it. It's just one of the many things that the pile can do. If you end up choke pointing out the branded fusion, you're still going to win the game. I also do want to point out down here that Necro Banshee has really swung back into the format here. The fact that this card says, no, your opponent cannot play the game. You know, hi Flunderies players, how are you guys? You know, I love the fact that you guys, you see the zombie world and you caw an absolute disappointment. It happens, all right? That's the reason why we're back to playing this package, because it's that good. And Fusion Duplication has definitely moved in as a one-of in this deck. You know, I hate to say it, but getting that branded fusion during your opponent's turn so you can go ahead and gas, and continue to play the game has ended up being very, very crucial to this deck's development. Also, 48 cards on this deck. I don't think that's an issue. I know, once again, some people are like, well, you know, you're playing branded. You want to explore some of the higher numbers. Yeah, understandably, but they're just, you're filling out more space for more tech choices to kind of optimize the build a little bit more. What else we got going on back here? Oh, heroes. Nothing has changed in Hero either post Age of Overlord. Actually, this duelist had 2 back-to-back post Age of Overlord tournaments and actually did well in both of those events. And one of the big contributors I want to point out down here is D-Force, because getting that free plasma, you make that plasma non-targeting, and then it starts getting really, really big, and your opponent can't actually do anything about it. Walking, talking skill drain is a really big thing, especially when said skill drain actually, you know, can't have anything done to it. Now, once again, I mean, let's talk about the other things that make this deck tend to work out here. You can thank good old Darklaw down here for still being the annoying good card that he is. All right, the fact that he is sucking up all of the random cards that your opponent's adding to their hand and still being the walking, talking, banish engine that you need him to be is extremely good. I think it's one of the reasons why heroes kind of still hold on to the rogue category and still do so well, is because of Darklaw and the fact that you are seeing this. Now, one of our little additional tech choices here is Spellbound, especially if you're playing in a lot more of these localized events, kind of going forward here post-Age. Spellbound is getting a lot more value. Yes, you have to time it well, but making sure that, you know, this word right here, tributed, actually is relevant. It auto shuts off, you know, Flunderies, especially, you know, when they've got 2 birds on the field. They're typically not going to be able to put 4 birds on the field, especially at the points you can chain the Spellbound, especially going first. That's like the biggest advantage that you want this card for, is to punish that. And I also see, yes, we are citing a Baguska. That way, you know, you can actually end on this thing. Baguska should typically end a lot of turns and get the game back to you, which ends up doing its job. And our last list we have here is, this is the first tier list that I've seen that's playing the Horus package. Yes, you gotta love the fact that the Horus package in here ends up being free real estate for this deck. I am not a huge fan of this package in the deck. I kind of agree with a lot of the points people said. You know, you are playing, you know, 6 additional cards in the deck that could be dedicated to other resources. And what if, you know, you end up drawing the Hoppy and you can't really do anything with it? Now, obviously, if you're playing more of the names, you're just asking for more dead cards along the way. But I mean, this recurs resources. This card actually is insane when it does get the chance to stick around. And Msenti is just going to be triggering, you know, resources and getting you the sarcophagus plus a draw. So don't underestimate that. And to top things off, see that we're also playing the Shayama in here as well. This card has been one of the redefining factors of what we've been seeing back here for just a little tech choice for the format. Outside of that, I think it's really cool to see that Tier has found a method to play the Horus cards. I mean, this was the projected engine. People are like, oh, you know, oh my gosh, I do all of this milling. Like, this is actually insane, you know, all these little free monsters that are going to be generated down here. Yeah, I get that. It seems pretty good on paper, but I wonder in terms of representation at YCSs and things like that, if this package will, you know, see play or not. So what do you guys think about these interesting decks? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.